Good evening everybody watching at home. It's Wednesday night and it's Amigos Racing Team back once again on the commentaries. Myself, SuperSquid. We're not bringing you the roulette series of before. We're bringing you a new spin on events. Tonight we've got a test event for our new series, the Touring Car Championship. Hosted for multiple events starting from next Monday. If you want to get involved and you're not already, there should be a link to the Discord channel in the description below, which should be an easy way for you to get involved with the many races run with us here at Amigos Racing Team. Firstly, a couple shout outs in order. Firstly to Chris, the curator of the event, who's put together a really promising set of races over the next coming weeks. Back on Gran Turismo Sport, slightly more reliable to host the lobbies on, but it should be really exciting. Unfortunately, Chris as well has aligned a couple of partners for the series, which has been fantastic. So if I can find the list of them who's working with us, a quick shout out and thank you to Liquimoli, Motorsport Tools, Drive for Coffee, O'Shea International, DS Auto Detailing and Nankang Tyres. Thanks for your cooperation and support with this series. We hope you're going to enjoy the content as much as the viewers back home. So we let Chris know that we are ready to go. As you can see here, we're running the Group 4 machines, starting here at the Broadbean Raceway, the oval that's not quite an oval. And we'll see we've been running through our competitors as the qualifier gets underway. Let's see how they do as they head on track. Good to be back on GT Sport, where the lobbies are simple, the keyboard shortcuts work for the nice little overlays and replay buttons. So let's have a look down the order quickly. Looks like Chris isn't running this one, so instead we're going to jump to whoever's out on track first, which will be, if we scroll through the field slightly then, looks like it will be not Mr. Tig, it will be J-Lad it looks like then, out on track there, just going past, or going into Sergeant Cole looks like by an accident. Or maybe people are backing out, perhaps Chris forgot to jump in the lobby himself there, easily done. Let's see very quickly why they're all scurrying out of the lobby and off the track rather than onto it. So as we say, the Group 4 machinery on display today with some wonderful liveries made by Chris, promoting some of our partners here. We've got a range of Group 4 cars. We've got the Lexus, we've got the BMW representing the rear-wheel drive cohort, we've got an Audi TT, and I believe there may be one or two Renault Meganes as well for the front-wheel drive guys. And we've also got the options of the Subaru and the Mitsubishi Evo for the four-wheel drives. Not too sure why there's no qualifying at the moment. And not sure why it says we've got 6 drivers out of 5 on the grid. But that could also just be GT Sport being GT Sport. Oh, the people are leaving the track, so I suppose we're going to jump back in once everyone is back in the lobby. Gran Turismo doing what it does best. So a quick look on the right and see what our drivers are going to be piloting tonight. We've got some BMW M4s, some Lexus RCFs, we've got an Atenza there also for the four-wheel drive community, along with the Evos before and the WRX and the Audi TT. So yes, it must have been that Chris forgot to get involved in his own race, but we've all been there before. So let's try again, let's get into the qualifier. So here is Chris at the front in his easily visible there, black, red and white BMW. So very similar to the BTCC of old, before the new hybrid era came along. They've decided to throw in a success ballast system, which will be starting from race 2 when the series kicks off proper next week. So if our contenders do very well, then they're going to end up maybe with a little bit heavier cars. If they're not doing so well, they might have some weight taken away. Of course, that should maybe, like it does in real life, affect the rear-wheel drive cars a little bit more. They'll have that inherent advantage being rear-wheel drive. But of course, the front-wheel drives obviously don't want any more balance because you can't shift it around like you can in Gran Turismo 7. It could probably be lumped straight in the middle of the car, or maybe even worse, to the front, which is going to do all kinds of horrible things to the balance and the tyre wear. I've just been told by a friend in the Discord that the live chat isn't working, unfortunately. Maybe the video's been marked as a kids video again. Of course, we do aim to be friendly to all age ranges here at Amigos Racing Team, but it does spoil the fun somewhat if you can't vote for your favourites in the chat, so let's see if we can sort that one out. Yes, made for kids, let's amend that. No, it's not made for kids. Let's save that now. And hopefully, Urban Fire, if you are watching, give it a shot now. And see if you can comment, as Chris has gone for a little spin on the exit of turn 2 there. Let's follow on with someone else then for a change, see who was on a hot lap. No, so, oh wait, we're doing a 1 lap qualifying instead then, so I suppose that is a qualifying order, having missed it all there. Trying to sort out the Discord. Looks like Chris Chow will be on pole, 2 tenths ahead of Mr. Tiddlywink. Then we've got A150 in P3, Deva in P4, Chris himself in 5th, the Great Wizard in 6th, Sergeant Colon 7th, Gina Quinny 61 in 8th, and J-Lad 1970 bringing up the rear. So let's double check that the chat is working now. I think it is, that should be fine. Good stuff. Looks like people are going around maybe one more time for an extra lap, it seems. So it's right on board then with Chris Chow, see if I remember how all these buttons work. There's our bumper cam, and that should be our little overlay, lovely. So they're Chris Chow in the Lexus, that massive, I think the 5 litre V8 there. Big, hefty machine. Up into 6th gear. Of course, Lexus might have slightly more advantage than these other cars with 7 gears. I think it's the only car in our current selection with 7 gears. That and the BMW, so that might be quite practical if they're looking for a bit of an extra acceleration boost. Of course, being rear-wheel drive, they'll be lugging all that extra weight, which isn't going to help them at all. And having a couple of gears to shift through might help them get back into the power band and back past our other cars. So it looks like Chris is going slightly faster than previous there, about a quarter or an eighth of a second up on his previous time. Sergeant Cullen improves to P5 with a 29.3, still half a second off of the pace. And Chris goes even faster there with 28.764. So let's see how A150 is getting on. He's about to set his next lap. He's miles off his previous pace there, a 33.8. So he's got a bit of work to do to catch up. Weasley goes up into 4th there with a 29.2. So the times are starting to fall. But really, it is Chris holding his own there. The only driver so far in the 28-second mark. So we're now going to see if anyone else can break through that wall. A150 is slower than his previous best, but maybe if he can catch the edge of the slipstream from the Great Wizard, he may yet improve. He crosses the line with about 43 seconds to go. He's not improved, he's 2 tenths down. Maybe there's some dirty air hindering that Subaru rather than helping him along the track. He's really catching up to Wizard now, and hopefully if we run on board from Wizard, he's not going to hold him up for too much longer as we ride from the rear spoiler there of the Wizard. It's like he's going to be alright there. He's probably doing this well in the Audi though. While it is very, very nippy in the low speed corners, it will start to understeer, I feel, as he picks up more speed. And he crosses the line there. He's not going to improve on his previous time, I don't think. No, he's almost half a second off. A150 is still in P2, but it's still Chris to go. They've got 10 seconds left. Let's see if anyone else is about to finish their last lap. See anyone else going over the line now? But Chris has called it quits for the time there. Chris Charlo is coming around. But he's fine, like right in the slipstream of the of J-Lad's his Lexus down at BMW. Doesn't improve, but still holds on to P1 for the time being. Is anyone else going to knock him off top spot? It's definitely Mr. Tilly is grinding the wall there. Nor do I think will Gina Quinny get that one. Gina Quinny, sorry. So Mr. Tiddlywink, a second down his previous best, so he does not improve. Anyone else going to reclaim that top spot? I don't think so. It's like A150 has bailed out in his final lap as well. And he's just going to run the clock out. So it seems to be our grid will be Chris on pole, A150 second on the front row, then Tiddlywink and Sergeant Colon, row 3 and 4. Urban Fire, yes boy, he is back indeed. Wizard and J-Lad 5th and 6th respectively. Gina Quinny in 7th place. And I think that might have been Deva and Chris at the rear. I'm sure it will just confirm for me in a moment. Indeed, yes, Deva and Chris at the back of the grid. So we're going to get underway for a 15-minute sprint race, which if I double check my notes here, I think should then segue into I think it's also another 30-minute race. I can't remember off the top of my head, I'm afraid. I can't find all my notes, they disappeared. But whatever the result of this race is for race 1, we're going to jump into race 2 afterwards with the same finishing order, and then a reverse grid for race 3. So it really is anyone's game as they head into the final race of the evening. But we'll start on board there with Chris Char, taking a resounding lead already there from A150. He's already a second up there, so perhaps maybe starting slightly further around the corner has improved his chances. Let's jump down to A150 in P2. He's not doing it quite as well with Mr. Tiddlywink behind him in P3. Very close to the wall there from Tiddlywink. Let's maybe jump on board there with Tiddlywink and see what he sees. Sort of, blacked out helmet there with a lightning bolt, but has he got electric pace to catch up to A150? Maybe not down the straight. A150 will take quite a tight line though through turn 1. It's giving Tiddlywink a nicer run and a slingshot right onto the back of him. The question is though, is it worth going for the move or helping each other along to try and catch up together to Chris Char, because he's already made a gap of 1.5 seconds to this battling pair. Tiddlywink is looking for the inside line there on A150. It's not what I'd recommend. I think it's best to work together. A150 cuts off the outside line. Will Tiddlywink move to the inside instead? No, he's going to follow him through, it seems, for lap 3. A good line from the pair of them, avoiding contact. There's that minimum avoiding the wall back there as they head around the corner. Sonic on there in P4. Quinny in 5th with JLab right behind him. It's sandwiched between himself and the Great Wizard. For 7th there. I can't remember what the shifting camera is. Can't seem to find the right button. Anyway, so we've still got Chris Char first, A150 second, Tiddlywink third. Then we've got Sergeant Colin in 4th. A little bump there, I think, from Wizards put Jayla almost in the wall. And that's then dropped them away from Quinny in 5th. So these are now 6th and 7th respectively. Chris in P8 has overtaken Deva, but he is right on his heels. I must say as well, that red purple fade livery looks exceptional on that Lexus. Really, really sweet design there. Let's see how Deva can do against Chris. He's gone for a slightly tighter line for the start of the corner. Has he got the pace to catch him up through the slipstream though? He's gaining on the straight, but not quite enough to make a move into turn 1. And he just missed the apex there. See the traction control flickering as well. He's very unlikely going to spin on racing super soft tyres, even though these are quite heavy cars, but of course that will only slow him down as he puts the power down. If we jump to the front of the pack one more time, we can see that Chris Char's now opened up the gap to 2 seconds, so he really is pulling away from this podium pair of A150 and Tiddlywink. A150 again, very early on the turning. Tiddlywink though using a later turning to get the momentum, and maybe now this is where Tiddlywink thinks he's got to make a move on A150. Let's maybe have a look from just behind, see what he sees. I'll be riding for the rear view now of A150. Tiddlywink again looking to that inside, maybe just to get in his mirrors. If we have a look forward again, we can see he's just about lurking in that mirror there on the top of A150's screen, but he's going to have much better drive out of that final corner. And now I think he sees that he knows Tiddlywink is gaining time with the entry. He's taking a slightly wider line through the start of turn 1, but still right underneath that rear wing is Mr. Tiddlywink. Is there going to be a moment soon where A150 succumbs to the pressure? Could it be now? They were very close there, but knows that Tiddlywink is still going to push him through that corner. But either way, this teamwork is not helping them make any inroads on Chris Char, who's opened out another 0.3 of a second, I believe, in the last 2 laps alone. So really have to start putting their foot down, and put his foot down I think he is indeed, as Tiddlywink makes his way on the inside of A150 for P2. So that should be now Tiddlywink comfortably up into 2nd place. A150 tucking in behind for 3rd. Here comes Quinny round the final corner in P4. We've got Sergeant Colon in P5, and just behind them battling there are JLab and the Great Wizard. And behind them, again, nice and close, are Chris and Deva. So seems to be, apart from Chris Char up front on his own, everyone else has got something to think about, which is something that you love to see in community racing. Let's jump back there to Tiddlywink. I think he's now once again under threat from A150. If we can get in the cockpit view, would be nice instead. Gran Turismo, if you don't mind. Cockpit view. No, maybe not. Oh, I've got to do it on control, haven't I? Let's try it instead. There we go. So there's the cockpit view. We can see there he's gone into the blind spot and now on the inside, and he's just made his way over the front bumper. A very close move there from A150. Let's double check maybe we can get a view from his car instead. So we jump back to A150. You can see he's had a fantastic run out of the final corner. And as he just makes it on the inside, you can see he just about cuts the nose right off of the BMW there. But excellent driving from the pair of them. And he'll keep that place as he heads on to lap 11 here. We have 5 minutes round the BB Raceway. Chris Char is still making a resounding lead, 2.7 seconds away now, almost 2 3/4 seconds. So these two here, A150 and Tiddlywink, in second and third respectively. Just further down the pack there is Gino Quinney, who has made his way up from Sergeant Colon, opened up the gap of 1.8 seconds. We've got Sergeant Colon in 5 there, as we say, about 1.9 down on Quinney, but 1.5 up on J-Lad in P6. They really have started to spread out. J-Lad might be falling into the clutches of the Great Wizard, though, down in P7, only half a second behind in that Audi TT, which is going to be extremely light compared to the BMW fronts. They both clipped the wall there. I say that's going to cost them both time. Here comes Chris maybe in his BMW. You can see some damage on the front there. He's had 1 or 2 encounters, it seems. About 8/10 away. He's really got to get some inroads. He wants to be in that slipstream. And at the back there we have Deva 1.9 seconds off his next rival. This was a message in the chat there from Brett. It's good to see you back, Brett. It's been a very long time since we've seen you on track. I'm getting bored losing to Dutchy, if I'm honest. So if I can lose to you instead, at least be some variety, you know. But I hope you're well. I hope your studies are going well as well, my friend. So Chris Char really using these two fighting to pull away. Now 3.3 seconds. So again, another second in the last 2 laps alone. He really is putting his foot down. Not set any personal laps, maybe due to lack of slipstream, but enough to keep himself away from his rivals. Let's jump maybe on board to Mr. Tiddlywink as he lines up another move, possibly roll very close to the bumper and the wall. Between a rock and a hard place indeed, but they give each other just enough space, and again some really fantastic measured and considerate driving between these two. A150 though very wide into that little right hand kick that's cost him momentum to the outside of the corner, and now we might just see another move for P2. They are neck and neck, drag race over the line. I think the Subaru might just have the legs, but the BMW's got the inside line and he will take it. However, A150 going for a very crafty cutback, but not quite going to make it. Hockers, he's back. Nice to see you too, Hockers. Who's not back, though, I'm afraid, is A150, having just lost P2 here to Mr. Tiddlywink. And that's cost them another second this lap. With only a 30-second lap, do you think we might see some back marker traffic in the next 5 or 6 laps? Only time will tell. A150 going for another move on the inside of Tiddlywink. It really is a ding-dong battle. Tiddlywink, though, holds it around the outside. Fantastic move from him. Maybe A150 needs to be just a little bit braver on the throttle. And now we've got Quinney getting involved in this battle as well. Let's ride on board with him. See what he sees from the front row seats. Popcorn in the cup holder. He is 800ths up on the best time of the race, which is now back in the hands of Chris Char. 28.7, more or less what he set in qualifying. Now these two really are going at it, but now a 28.5 from Quinney, looking to go to the outside of A150. He's gone too deep on the inside. Now sneaky cutback. Now they're 3 wide. Let's get outside for this one. A double overtake by Quinney, slight contact there to A150, but I think they all made it through in one piece. But a great piece of opportunistic driving there from Quinney, and he mugs the pair of them off into the final corner. Let's get one more look at that if we can. So Quinney enters there in P4 as a really good look at the inside of the pair of them, and can jump on board maybe, just seeing that rearview mirror. He makes his way round the pair of them. Very smooth manoeuvre indeed to secure P2. Keeping P2 as well, and making a gap there on Mr. Tiddlywink. As it seems we've now lost A150. If we slide further back down the track a little bit, A150 must have had an accident. I must have just missed it. I was watching the replay there, and I find himself almost 2 seconds off the pace. So he really is going to have to punch his way back up the field with that Subaru Boxer engine. Meanwhile, though, punching his way back is Mr. Tiddlywink, getting past the Evo, resuming P2. But now this trio is 6 seconds off the pace of Chris Char, who really is trying to run away with this race. We've only got about 5 and a bit minutes remaining, and I really doubt, unless there's a huge mistake from Chris Char, that we'll see the lead change hands at any point soon. Quinney, though, really trying to draw back alongside Tiddlywink. The issue with the Evo is it's only got 5 gears, and once you get to that 5th gear, you lose all kinds of torque, all momentum, and you're just stuck in the slipstream. You can see that even while he's right up underneath that BMW, there's just no way past. He hasn't got the power. However, Tiddlywink has gone quite wide there. He did open the doors slightly, but Quiddy just can't make the room. Is there a cut back on for him though, as he makes his way back onto the main straight? Here he comes past Tiddlywink. Oh, he's on the inside. Maybe some contact. Didn't quite see. They're still leaving racing room. And they are just about 3 in one piece. And to be fair, they did all that without losing too much time to the lead as well. Still holding a healthy gap there to A150, but it's just not happening for the meantime. They jump back just a little bit though, as I think Chris, they've made his way from the back of their pack up into P5, but he's got Sergeant Colon weaving all around him there. Almost gone back in the pit lane there, Sergeant Colon. Let's not jump on board with him then, in the Master. The only Master on the grid tonight. Of course, notoriously overpowered in Gran Turismo 7, but a little bit more balanced, I think, in GT Sport. But down to 4th gear, almost at the apex there, a little bit of understeer. Again, forward drive and super soft tyre aren't the ideal combination, but he's making it work for today. He's slipping a little bit behind Chris though. Can he get back into the slipstream, maybe get himself a couple of tenths on the final corner? Let's have a look. He's following him now through the final bend. He's lost some time on the entry there, another 2 tenths. And of course, back in GT Sport, that crucial 7.5 tenth gap there to the car in front will be your slipstream range. He is back in it, but he's just again run a little bit wide on the entry there. You can see the delta costing him even more time. So our racing order, with under 4 minutes to go, we have Chris Char out in front. Again, I've not put much coverage on Chris Char, but he's kind of run away from pole and not seen anybody else, so it wouldn't have been much fun to see him driving around on his own. We've got Quiddy though in P2 and Tiddlywink still battling for those podium places. 1.9 seconds down the road is this man here, A150, who was involved in a tremendous battle for those podium spots, but managed to fall off of the pack somehow. We've then got Chris from 9th from the grid, fighting his way back into the mid-pack. He's now 2nd away from Sergeant Colon, but 3 seconds a lap is going to be quite hard if he wants, or 2nd lap to be quite hard if he wants to catch A150. Here's Colon there in P6. He's about 2nd and a 10th either side of him to Chris, and this man here, the Great Wizard, in the Audi. I think tonight's only FF car on the grid as well. J-Lad is down in 8th place, so he seems to have gone backwards rather than forwards. Is he going to lose one more to Deva? Oh, not quite, but he's gone very wide on the exit there, and this could be Deva's chance. We'll jump on board with him then in the RCF as he tries to make his way around that BMW. J is going to make it as wide as he can, heading through that right-hand kick and now onto the bank. You can see there all the lock Deva's applying there, cutting off some of the momentum but keeping right in the slipstream of J-Lad. Now he's going to go up into that 7th gear, use all the momentum of that big torquey V8. He's later on the brakes. Oh, but he's just going to hold it back. J-Lo's very wide. Now he's really catching up in that Lexus. Is there a move to make on the inside? No, not quite. Again, that traction control maybe just flicking in at the wrong time. But they're still battling. And again, it's great to see whether you're in the middle or the front or the back, there's still a fight going on somewhere on the grid, which is fantastic racing. And again, if you want to have a great part in this racing, join our Discord in the link below. As Deva looks like he's finally making his move on J-Lad. J's going to hold it around the outside though. Fantastic driving. Deva, you haven't got long left. You've probably got about 5 laps left to make your move. Let's get it done. It seems though that the rest of the pack has levelled out. Chris Char, league of his own though. I'll say that as he slams into the wall. He's lost about 2 seconds, I think, to the drivers behind him, so maybe he's been given it a bit of an easier ride towards the end. But here comes Quinn in P2. He's got 3 seconds now over this continuing some mistakes as they head into the last segment of our race. A150 still 1 second off the pace of Tiddlywink. Has he got time to close in? Well, he's going to have to get about half a second a lap if he wants to be in for a shot on the podium. Chris R still in 5th, marooned on his own little island, as is Sergeant Colon. He's still got the Wizard behind him, but he just can't catch him through the corners, I don't think. J-Lad there in 8th place and still has got Deva right on his tail. You see me if you run aboard there from J-Lad, of course, a massive BMW wing in the way. You won't look at this for too long, I promise, but you can see that Lexus perfectly framed between the ring and the wing and the bonnet. Has he got a chance to make his way past? Let's see where he can make that time up as they head around that right-hand kink onto the last bank corner. And maybe that's where Deva's losing the time. He's running very wide there through the right-hander. He's going to cut it back maybe for the final corner, but at that point he's already lost so much time. He's just lost any gains he was going to make onto that final stretch there. let's see if there's any chance we can get him past. We can see though, I think our podium pair are really drawing close because I'm jump slaves very quickly. If we look here with A150, he's now definitely in the slipstream there of Mr. Tiddlywink. He's only got one lap to do it though. So I think this will be the final lap for everyone on track. A150 going as tight as he dares to the inside line there. It's not gained him any time unfortunately, but hopefully he's going to have something in the bag to get past Mr. Tiddlywink, or find himself at the top, bottom of the losers, I'm afraid. The top of the losers. We'll say congratulations to Chris Charr, who takes the win for race 1. Quinny taking home P2. Tiddlywink is just going to pip A150 to 3rd and 4th place respectively. Let's find Chris. He's going to come around for P5. 1.5 seconds up on this man, the Great Wizard. Sergeant Colon's going to send to the inside line for P7. J-Lad Endeavour drag race to the line, but J-Lad will pip him by a 10th. A very close race there, but there's your race winner by a country mile, Chris Charr. So we'll take a quick look at our race results just as the lobby prepares for the second race. So Chris Charr there in the Lexus. Seems we've got our grid bookended by Lexuses for the race 1. Lexuses? Lexi? Lexus? Someone tell me please. I like my words and my etymology, but I'm not so good with that one. So Chris Charr takes the win in the Lexus. Quinny in P2 in the Lancer, which did very well in that race. However, perhaps the oval balance of performance put things slightly in his favour. And Mr. Tiddlywink in P3, again just holding off A150 in the Subaru in P4. Great race from those two. Hopefully we'll see something else in the next one. Chris from the back of the grid makes his way up into P5, so that will put him middle of the grid for the second round. The Great Wizard in P6, about a second and a half behind in that previous race, so those two definitely had a close one. Sergeant Colon in P7, J-Lad in 8th, and just pipped at the post at the end of that one was Dever in the other Lexus. So as you can see there on the left, that was our sprint qualifier over. It's now into the second race. We're going to have a 30-minute race here in the N300s. I don't remember that one being the figures. I have to check that one out in a moment then. Although I will assume that Chris has provided everyone with the cars that they all need. And this does look like a slight technical glitch, because I'm pretty sure we're still meant to be in touring cars. Unless, of course, we're going to go back to the standard progression league after this one. So I better just message these guys quickly, making sure they're carrying on with the TCR. Because as far as I was aware, we were going to have 3 races this evening, but I could be wrong. Been wrong before. Wizard tells us there'll be one more race. Okay, so that's what I was hoping to hear then. So one more race, and we will be at one of my favourite tracks, Tsukuba. So of course one of our other fantastic real-world circuits. So So Tsukuba with with 12 corners, a very short lap. Oh, that's my notification there. So we've got one more race from Chris. I'll make sure I get that one confirmed. Excellent stuff. So yes, we got Tsukuba here, 12 corners, very short track. Normally, I think you can get a good lap in under a minute with a slightly modified road car doing a good job. So these Group 4s, I'm pretty sure can lap this track in around a minute. It's a very popular track used in Japan for time attack events, for drifting, and I believe if you look somewhere on YouTube you'll find some really great clips of various 90s sports cars racing around at the same time as like a bigger track day comparison, with Nissan GTR 34s, Porsche 911s, Ferrari F430, some huge wild array of cars, and the fact that you could just see all these cars in the 90s on one track was sensational. I'm absolutely jealous. So I think in that case, when Chris is ready, we'll start. I think when Chris is ready, we'll get going with the second race. I believe he's setting the grid for from the previous event, so that should be done in just a moment. So while we're here, let's jump on board then with A150. Again, had a great race last race time out. Unfortunately, he just lost it, I think, and put himself in P4. And you can see there actually he has got light damage, so perhaps that will be a factor in his race this evening. As we get Cantona in the chat. Good evening, Cantona. Always nice to have you in the chat. Hope you're doing well, buddy. So as you may have seen on the left right sheet, if I jump back out to the track settings here, if we highlight this message. Where are we? Here. So we're looking at a 30-minute race with 12 times tyres and 7 times fuel, it looks like. So it's going to be quite an intensive race on the driver's resources, and with a very tight, twisty track like Tsukuba, I'm sure these tyres are going to take an absolute pounding. So who's going to hold out? Maybe what are the stop strategies for this one? I've got absolutely no idea. I don't think I've ever run a race at Tsukuba with such heavy tyre settings. And of course the rolling start is going to make things interesting as well. Again, with the tyre wear as well, that involves tyre temperatures. We've got to make sure that everything is warmed up before the time we get to the braking zone. Otherwise that could be just ever so slightly dangerous. I think if we're going to get something dangerous as well, let's ride on board with Chris Charles. It's like we're doing a reverse grid for this one then instead. And let's get his view of things as he heads into turn 1. See if the chaos unfolds at all. Okay, so we are racing. We're running on board there with Chris Charles for the start. We see the cars are fairly evenly spread out as they get underway. Seems that there haven't been any casualties into turn 1, which is always a bonus. We'll jump outside and see where the battles are going on. We can jump quickly to our host with the most, Chris R390, as he heads into turn, I want to say it's turn 4, I think it's turn 4, because I had this on my phone a minute ago, except I got rid of it because I'm very smart. So, heading out under the iconic Dunlop Bridge here at Tsukuba. It seems that Sergeant Cole's getting into it there with J-Lad, so jump aboard with him then and see how he's getting on. So heading through that tight hairpin corner at the bottom of Circuit 4, opening the taps onto the back straight there. We can see Jen had a much better exit there and is escaping from the slipstream. And that little digital mirror down on your right as well, you can see there Chris R is gaining on Sergeant Colon, but in the braking zone, is anyone going to experience much understeer? Colon is on the medium, so that might hinder him as he goes very wide there, almost onto the grass at the exit of the final corner, and it looks like Chris has got the inside line, will take P3, but with a half-second penalty, he'll have to drop that at some point soon, I would imagine. Seems that Sergeant Cohen's line has also allowed the Great Wizard to sneak up on the inside. Again, that Audi will be really nippy through these tight and twisty circuits here, but of course, with all the power and steering going through the front wheels, I'm sure we're going to see those front tyres squealing in agony within the next few laps. So Dever still holding his own out in P1 with a convincing lead there, 2.2 seconds over J-Lad, his next closest contender in second. Chris in third, still with that 3-tenth penalty to burn off eventually. Then we've got the Great Wizard and Colon and A150 all together in a huddle here. A150 looking the inside of Colon. There's a little bit of door bagging there, very risky. But of course, I think if you watch your own set of touring cars, we know that door bagging is almost customary to go again over the finish line. A150 still on the inside though. Has he got the move on Sergeant Colon? All very close, running him wide. Tiddlywink wants some of the action as well. Let's jump aboard there with Tiddlywink. Right, and his cockpit view there. A little bit door back there with A150. Oh, they're all very late on the brakes. You really couldn't judge that at all. But A150, excellent traction on the exit with the four-wheel drive Subaru. Cannot get past that BMW there of Sergeant Colon, making it as wide as he can. Oh, sorry, it's the Mazda of Sergeant Colon. I apologise. However, he's going to make his move now. Oh, it's a very late move from A150. I'm not sure he was going to quite make that. Pulled out at the last minute, but now he's alongside and through. If we jump towards the Sergeant Colon, it looks like Great Wizard has gone off the track there. That's definitely costing time. Chris is up into third. Colon will try and go around the Subaru on the outside. Oh, holding it around there is very risky business indeed. He's going to end up on the AstroTurf there. He's just about made it though. Great Wizard is really struggling, it seems, with that front-wheel drive Audi. He's just not got the grip through the corners and the balance. A150 will go back on the inside of Sergeant Colon. Again, they're side by side. They're three abreast through that first corner there. And it seems that Tiddlywink is the one that's going to emerge on top. Sergeant Colon has to concede it to Tiddlywink, I think, unless he's going to go brave on the inside line. Tiddlywink needs to go around the outside. No, make that a cutback. Up into P... No, he's still in P6, not getting past Colon just yet. Colon now on the grass. That's going to cost him some time and some grip. A little bit of a bump there on Tiddlywink, who finds himself in the dirt. He's going to hold it on the track, though. Goodness me. Has he saved that into P5? Oh, his front tyres will be screaming, but he's kept that for P5. What on earth has happened there? So we can get another view of that from Tiddlywink. So if we jump on board from outside there, Colon goes wide, rejoins the track, bumps Tiddlywink just by the slightest of touches, finds himself in the wall, fortunately no damage, and keeps it level. A bit of a slide there into the final corner, but out of all of that, keeps P5. That is incredible driving from Tiddlywink. And he retains it onto lap 5 as well. Good job from him. We shuffle back just a bit though, we can see they really are starting to bunch up now. Quinny and Colon are still going at it for 6th and 7th. We can just see A150's fallen off of that pair there, maybe for some damage or conflict, but he should be getting back onto them soon if they keep fighting the way they are. Looks like Colon has let Quinny go there with the inside line. He's looking for another cutback, but he finds himself on the grass. That's not how you're going to do it. So it really is heating up in there. Even at the back of the pack, I can see that Chris has already made his way up into P2, past J-Lad, but I must have missed that with all the action that's going on at the end of the field. Speaking of the end of the field, Chris Char finds himself at the back, having had a storming race in the first one. He's not managed to make any inroads on the pack. In race 2, you can see that front left tyre has taken an absolute beating. Only 5 laps in, only 5 minutes in. He might find himself in the pits a couple more times than he'd like to be. So as we hit lap 6, let's go for a running order one more time. We've got Dever out in the front in a league of his own, it seems now, 4.2 seconds ahead of the pack. Chris R finds his way up into 2nd place. J-Lad in 3rd, right on his heels there. Both of these BMWs seem to be very evenly matched there, but let's see who can ring the performance and it the better. Just behind this squabbling pair, we've got the Great Wizard and Tiddlywink also battling over that P4 and 5. We always had some contact there. I just claimed off it. I think there's a bit of contact there. Tiddlywink is going to be on the inside. We can jump back on board with Tiddlywink and see what he sees. He's already cut that line off, it seems. And he now will take P4 from the Great Wizard. We see them in the mirror. So there's Great Wizard there in P5. Colon in 6th place. Just about fending off their Quinny in 7th. Chris is now up into 8th, having got past A150, who must be having an absolute nightmare. He's in the grass. And that front left tyre is absolutely destroyed. What's happened there to A150? So on the back straight, I think he's just broken much too late. The car's understeered all the weight on the front, but the steering lock just won't go for him. And he's careened into the barrier. Fortunately, no damage, but that'd be the last thing he wants to see after such a successful race in the first instance. Perhaps he needs to move his brake bias to the rear. It seems he's got a lot of wear on those front tyres. David seems to be managing that tyre wear fairly well. He's already only about a third of the wear gone on that front left tyre, the one that will take all the beating with these 3 sweeping right-hand corners here at Tsukuba. Chris has jumped into the pits to get rid of those shoddy tyres already, as has J-Lad from P3, so that puts Tiddlywink and Great Wizard up onto the podium as they fly around onto the start of lap 8. Colin, oh, into the grass. I've just caught that. Is that a save? It's not a save. That's a very heavy impact there, and he finds himself down into P6. Very unfortunate there. What's happened to Colon? Had an excellent line, but maybe he's got on the power a little too early, clips the grass, and even there, put his foot down, but the four-wheel drive will not save him. Very lucky to not get engine damage there. But they're down in P6, still with that damage on the front of his car. Hopefully that'll expire in any moment now, unless of course if it's heavy damage. No, it is light damage, so he will be fine, but that's the last thing he wanted after a very good start opening stint from Sergeant Colon. So it looks like the pack is now spaced out a little bit following our first couple of pit stops. Looks like Deva's going to stick it out a little bit longer as he heads on to lap 9. 5 seconds up now on Tiddlywink, a huge gap between those two. Tiddlywink's got 2.8 seconds, almost 3 seconds now over the Great Wizard. 2.5 up on Quinny, and here comes Chris, having not made his stop yet, up into P5. Colin, after his incident, is in P6, and here comes Chris behind him on a fresh set of medium tyres. Full tank of fuel though, so he will be quite cumbersome through those corners, but will he have the grip to make it count? Let's jump on board with him. So that's Chris there, revving that BMW M4 as high as he can. Very late on the brakes there behind Sergeant Colin. I thought he was going to run straight through the back of him there. Of course, Colin doesn't want to have any more encounters with the walls, I'm sure. He's going to live to see another day, it seems there. But Chris just not able to catch him. Maybe have some luck out of this corner again with a better grip on the tyres. Should guarantee him a nicer exit. Let's see how he fares. And he does already. He's already on the inside there of Sergeant Colon. It would be a drag race, but with the extra grip he's had out of that corner, that is no contest at all. Chris finds himself up into P6 as Chris Char now jumps into the pit lane from his very worn front left tyres. Let's see how long this pit stop takes him as the mechanics wait for him to pull in. That front left tyre really has taken a beating. So he's going to be straight out of pits, no fuel. Another set of soft tyres, so he's going to go and run that car all the way empty. Maybe another top up of fuel would have been worth it, of course. Running the softer tyres with a lighter car would prolong the tyre life just that little bit more, make it that more reasonable to drive, and of course a lighter car makes for faster acceleration. As it stands though, it seems that our next main battle is just up ahead with these two, Sergeant Colon and Chris R. So even though we've gotten past him, he's not really run away yet. Let's have a look if Colon's got anything to match him as they head into the second to last corner. And it seems that he's just not got the grip to pull away. Even with four-wheel drive exit from the hairpin, he just cannot get the power down on those worn medium tyres. Wizard comes in now to get rid of his worn medium tyres. Of course, that Audi actually has fared fairly well on those mediums, it seems, despite being front-wheel drive. So let's see, he's going to load the car up with a little bit of fuel. Looks like this will put him in 8th place. It's like A150 is very far down the pack there. He'll emerge on the hard tyres, full tank of fuel. So let's see just how far the Wizard can go. Can he maybe pull some magic out of the hat here on the hard tyres? A150 looks like he must have been so far behind to make his stop. He's also done a similar strategy. Hard tyres, full tank of fuel. Let's see what he can manage in the Subaru. Deva still yet to pit on those soft tyres. He's made them last a very long time indeed. This of course should mean that he's still got some medium and hard tyres in reserve should he use them at his next pit stop. Tiddlywink though, even having not stopped, is not gaining as much as he should be on Deva in that BMW. Still got a fairly warm pair of soft tyres as well. If we slide back just a little bit further, we can see Quinny, I think, is our final driver to have not made a pit stop yet, also on soft tyres. It'll be interesting to see how these three play with the strategy when their pit stop phase comes in. It looks like though our net leader should be this man here, Chris R. Having made his pit stop 16 seconds down, should put him comfortably in front of his peers once they make their stops. Behind him, 2.2 seconds away, is Chris Char, who's done fairly well to get back on that time. Ooh, almost threw that away with the curse of the commentator there. He's just ahead of Sergeant Colon. He is 1.6, now 1.7 seconds down. He's also still yet to make a stop. Of course, finding himself further down the pack owing to that unfortunate off on the start-finish straight. J-Lads, we saw there, just come out of the pits there with a fresh set of medium tyres. Great Wizard on the hards, as is A150. He's got a lot of ground to make up, so hopefully he'll be picking up the pace soon. If not, looks like he will get lapped. 45 seconds off the lead with a 1 minute lap. You can see there, Devi is about 15 seconds behind him, heading through the middle sector. Tiddlywink seems to have brought that gap down just a little bit there to 2.5 seconds, so maybe this is where Deva should consider jumping onto another set of tyres. Of course, we are almost halfway into the race. Deva has managed those tyres and fuel fairly well, so if he fills up to a substantial amount of fuel with some medium tyres, I don't see why he couldn't go to the end of the race with just a one-stop strategy. He's managed it very well indeed. If we compare that to Tiddlywink, as Deva chooses to stay out. Tiddlywink is running low on fuel and he's going to pit now. So can he make the undercut work on Deva? Of course, have to put some more fuel in compared to Deva, I think. But can he get those tyres up to temperature and ready before Deva makes his stop? Quinny also pits then. This will promote Chris R into P2, but with Chris Char right behind him. So we're going to see a Chris versus Chris heading into turn one. Let's jump on board with our green Lexus there, as Chris R is just slightly wide of the apex. Char is going to make the much tighter line there, but not running out as wide, not using the momentum. Holding that tighter line though, he's going to slow his car down and take a little bit more extra life out of those tyres. And of course, running the softer compound now, he's really got to be careful. However, having not fueled, he cannot put as much stress through them. Let's see if he can use that lighter car to his advantage as he hunts down that black, red and white BMW. Again, running very wide, again, just getting slightly out of shape on the grass. That's very, very close indeed. A tighter, more comfortable line sees him right up under the diffuser there of that BMW, and now they're going to be nose to tail, heading down the main straight. Chris R defends to the inside, Chris Char going around the outside, but I think he thinks better of it. Having seen the skid marks in the previous incidents, maybe he knows one more straight away and he can find his move. Chris R390 a little bit slow on the exit there, but Char cannot get past him as hard as he tries. You can see now he's got these red fuel indicators flashing up, so just under 10% of a tank left. So I don't see us taking any more than 2 laps for him to have to jump back into the pits, and that could put him somewhere quite near the back of the pack, having not maybe optimised the strategy there. He's gone very aggressive for his second stint. Oh, he's gone very aggressive to the outside of Chris, but I'm not sure this is going to work out strategically for him. Has he got a chance to make a move around the outside? Let's look one more time. Not around the outside there, but hard on the brakes. Chris R is wide of the apex. Chris Char is right on the apex. And a great exit seems once again even closer than he was before. Is there a move at the inside now? Surely there has to be. Does Chris R390 know that he's got to pit though? Maybe a little bit of communication there. Maybe he knew he had to pit, so he didn't try and defend it too aggressively. We can see there Quinny did pit earlier. He found himself in the middle of a three-way fight here for P5, but on the inside line of Mr. Tiddlywink. Has he got the legs to get past that BMW? Oh, I don't quite think so. He should have the softer tyres though. But no, he's going to hold the inside line and maybe wait for his next chance, which seems to be here already. Taking the inside line on the main straight, but just not got the momentum to get past that black Beamer. So he's going to sit there in P5. Another exit there, really trying to pull the inside line with that four-wheel drive and grip up as quickly as he can. Just nowhere to go. He really is making that BMW as wide as he can do. Speaking of wide, it's like the Great Wizard missed that apex by about 1.5 miles there. That's going to cost him some slipstream to these two. Let's jump on board then with Quinny as he chases behind Tiddlywink as Deva now pits. This is the gap we're looking for. Is Deva going to make the overcut work on Quinny, or has the traffic caused him a little bit more of a distraction? A little bit of bump there on Chris as he tries to make, or Tiddlywink, he tries to get past. Another drag race up the main straight, but the BMW just about has the advantage here. They're passing the pit entry now. Where is Deva going to emerge? We're going to jump on with him now. The car is being refilled with fuel. He needs to leave. He needs to be out the pits, so he's going to lose place there. He's leaving the pits now, but he's just missed that overcut. It looks like Quinny has made the undercut work on him, but Dever is on a set of medium tyres, a full tank of fuel. This will comfortably take him to the end. He needs to dispatch the Great Wizard quickly, though, otherwise he's going to be in a world of hurt when he catches up to this other pack. So let's see, maybe just getting used to those tyres running quite wide at the start there. Let's see if he can make some inroads on the Great Wizard. Tiddlywink though still trying to get past. You can see they're now caught up to J-Lad as well, so this could be a three-way fight for P2. Queenie goes up the inside there of Tiddlywink as now Chris 5090 makes his hopefully final pit stop. I do feel he's not got a chance of keeping the lead now from these three, but can this strategy come back to him in the later segments of the race? We will have to find out as we carry on. So now almost two wide as they head through the final corner. Quinny will take pole position and Tiddlywink will follow him through. Great drive in there from Tiddlywink to take P2 off of J-Lad. Let's check from Tiddlywink there as he is currently P3. If that's the right button. There we go. J-Lad runs wide, leaves space for Quinny, and Tiddlywink says thank you very much and is on his bike. And now he finds himself once again stuck behind that Lance Revolution of Jim and Quinny. Tiddlywink down to the bridge in P2, J-Lad in P3, Chris in 4th, and the Great Wizard just lurking behind there in 5th, and Dever in 6th. Wizard on the grass though in the Audi. Oh, he's just about kept it on track and got it stopped. Those dirty tyres are going to be a pain if he puts his foot down out of the hairpin. Of course, these front-wheel drive cars have a real tendency to spin up the wheels even on softer tyres. And I think now he's just back going to fall prey to Dever. He is indeed. J-Lad now pits. So he must have been saving some fuel trying to get to his final stint. That's going to see him move down to the near rear end of the grid, I believe. So Wizard into P5 and Chris down to P6 having made his second stop. So he's got some time to make up, hopefully. Sergeant Colin's also stopped with a hard set of tyres and just over half a tank of fuel. So this should be him to the end of the race now. As A150 has also stopped again, put on a set of soft tyres and a full tank of fuel. Not sure he's made the best decision strategically for this event. Subaru not great, and again that front brake bias really has cost him in the first stages of the event. So maybe a little driver coaching for A150 will help him sort out his strategy. Quinny though in the lead of our race here in the Mitsubishi Evolution, 1.25 seconds up on Mr. Tiddlywink in P2. Maybe now he's just turned down the wick slightly just to keep some more fuel in reserve for the final 10 minutes of the race. We have a quick comparison. You can see that Quinny's probably got about maybe 10-12% more fuel than Mr. Tiddlywink. But as long as he can catch back up to that 7/10 gap to the car in front, maybe you can save some more fuel in the slipstream and then push harder at the end. You can see he's still got a 3-second gap back there to Chris in P3. But this one here, Dever, I think is our man to watch. Having just pitted for a set of medium tyres, it's really his race to lose to try and catch up to that leading pack. Having led from start until the last maybe 3 minutes or so, it really is his event to lose. But can he make this time back? He's probably the best equipped to do it with the tyres and fuel that he's got left. We've got the Wizard in P5 with Chris Char in 6th, fending off Sergeant Colon in 7th. So a robust move there from Sergeant Colon, but Chris Char is going to hold the momentum around the outside. And I think Sergeant Colon has been demoted back to private there with that move from Chris Char, holding it very bravely around the outside of that very tight hairpin. So Colon will stay in P7. J-Lad they're down in 8th, and as we said before, A150 in 9th place. So the battle we need to watch so far is this one for the lead. We'll jump on board with Tiddlywink. He has managed to get back into that slipstream of Quinny, but can he stay there? And can he stay there while fending off Chris? We see that Chris has just not had quite the same run out of that left-hand hairpin, but at the same time, it seems that Tiddlywink's not managed to catch up as quickly to Quinny there. Of course, the BMW, again, we said before, with 7 gears, should make acceleration just that much snappier, but he's just not got the four-wheel drive. Almost, you know, the way it claws the tarmac on the way out of the corners. And I think it's just that lack of grip on the corner exit is what's costing him. If we look here, He's catching him through this right-hander, an excellent liner down. He's taken a 10th out of him already, but immediately on the exit, it seems that Quinny starts to claw that time away from him again. So you've got to make sure he makes some gains in the corners, especially while he's only having a real go at those front tyres in the BMW. Chris Arlo is catching now. He's only 1.1 seconds behind. Devo's behind there as well in 2.7 seconds. So he is starting to reel in this front trio. But with 8 minutes to go, has he really got, you know, what is this going to be? If it's a minute a lap, has he really got about a quarter second a lap in it to get back at these front three? It's going to be very hard to tell. He's had the pace all race long. But for the time being, this is our leading trio, Quinny, Tiddlywink and Chris. But Tiddlywink is once again back in the slipstream, now down to half a second. So somewhere in this lap, Tiddlywink is finding Quinny's weakness and needs to exploit it sooner rather than later, because the longer it takes him stuck behind that evolution, the quicker it's going to be for Chris to catch up to the pair of them. And of course, we saw in that last race, all the fighting really cost some of these guys the win against Chris Char in that Lexus. Right underneath the bumper of that Evo. Let's jump back onto the hood camera here and see just how close Quinny is. Oh, he's really gone defensive on the inside. Can Tiddlywink get the undercut on him? No, not quite. But again, that Evo, just pointers squirt. It really does pull out of those corners. And Tiddlywink has to really fight to get that BMW in a straight line and then get the power down. Let's see how they do in the braking zone. Later on the brakes there from Tiddlywink. A lick of flame from the Evo. Both running slightly wider there, but again the Evo, it just rights itself and pulls away, and there he goes, 4/10 away now from Tiddlywink. So it seems each time he draws closer, he loses that time once again on the straightaways, on the corner exits. Now Chris is within 1 second, so these two really are starting to slow down. Devo though has lost time to this front three, now about half a second down from where we saw him last. So perhaps maybe he's just not got that consistency on the medium tyres as he did on the softs. And I think we'll ride on board then with Chris as he's got front row seats for the battling duo at the front, as the Great Wizard pits there from 7th place. It seems that his strategy's just not fallen into place today either. It seems that Wizard's secrets really were revealed at the end of the race. Wasn't quite up to standard for him. Tiddlywink still hounding Quinny fully. Oh, not anymore, as he finds himself in the wall. That's a huge off there for Tiddlywink. What has happened there as he struggles to right himself? There goes Devo into P3. Is Chris Char anywhere on to be seen? He's very close behind. Oh, he's very close behind, and he might just make some inroads there. As you can see on the HUD at the bottom left of your screen, Tiddlywink now has some front damage. You can see now that BMW really sluggish down the straightaway, braking at 100 while the legs almost at 120 as he hits the brakes. Maybe a little bit too late there, as he got maybe excited, could smell the blood in the water. Let's jump back quickly then. If I think I'll just delete the replay footage. Oh, I have indeed. I apologise for that. I pressed the wrong button. But it seems there that Tiddlywink just got on the grass in his attempts to catch Quinny, and that has really put paid to his race. We can see that Quinny's front tyres are starting to take a beating now on those softs though. Meanwhile, Chris with a set of mediums and a rear-wheel drive BMW. Looks like he really is going to start making some inroads now on that Mitsubishi. Devo does not seem to be anywhere in sight. Again, 3.5 seconds down from Chris, so it looks like he's going to be out of the running for the win, barring another crazy accident. We've got 5 minutes to go, so that's roughly 5 more laps, maybe 6 if they cross the line sharpish. We're going to jump on board though with this man here, our host for the evening, Chris R390, as he chases down Quinny in the Mitsubishi Lancer. Another lick of flame there, shooting from the rear of the Evo. Of course, I think just makes you think of the crazy anti-lag we've got now in GT Sport. So we can see that I think just round that corner there is A150 in this Subaru. So as we predicted, there might well be some lap traffic coming into play at the end of the race. At some point, it seems A150 might well be getting the blue flags, but where he makes his move out of the way could be the make or break moment for these two drivers. Seems they are still working fairly well together, eking out that gap from Devo to 3.8 seconds at one moment there. Devo though had a good run under the Dunlop bridge, has brought that back another 3/10. Now we're going to see who's got the power down the main straight again. Quinny with a great exit there in the Evo, but those front tyres, we jump back to him now, are going to be in quite some pain. You can see there the front left tyre is at least halfway worn. He just can't tuck it into the apex, while Chris is all the way to the inside and now deep in the slipstream there. 2.5 tenths down now. Only 2 tenths into the braking zone. It's not really close enough for a dive, but maybe just enough to get in the mirrors and get him scared. We jump on board though with Quinny, hopefully. Can we see what he sees? Yes, we can. So if we run on board with Quinny, we look up to the right there, we can see just in the rear view mirror that menacing BMW. As we see there, A150 just emerging into our view, so he'll be getting blue flags in a couple of moments, I believe. I think it's why we can see that Quinny's just maybe, is he short shifting? I couldn't quite tell there. He shouldn't have to save much more fuel than this though, surely. I know he is max shifting, it seems. He's going all the way to the red line. But of course, you can see with just about a third of a tank of fuel, he should easily make the finish line with another 3 laps or so. But it's that front left tyre I'm worried about. Again, very lazy on the turning, but Chris R's had a very bad final corner as well. That's going to cost him some time, running very wide on the exit. But still Quinny and Chris in third. Dev has now brought a second back to these two here at the front. And again, with 2 or 3 laps to go, one little incident or one spat or one conflict could make it a 3-way fight for the win. Tiddlywink still trying to catch up, but he's 6.8 seconds down the road, only rounding the first corner now, as is Chris Char in the green Lexus. Again, his strategy is not really falling in the way he needed it to. And that front left tyre, I don't think he's going to be making any overtakes for the rest of our race. Sergeant Colin, again, not the ideal strategy for him, finds himself down in P6. J-Lad in 7th. There's the Great Wizard in 8th. Both drivers on a set of soft tyres, but again, that Audi is so light and nimble through the corners. There might well be a place for him to make in the next 2 minutes. So A150 has quite sporty conceded to all 3 of our leaders as his front left tyre is practically bald at this rate. Should be claiming his pension. He's got that little hair on its head. But he's going to try and chug it around for another 2 laps, I think, which is very admirable. He obviously could pit and retire there, but I think it's very sportsman-like of him to see it through to the end. Meanwhile, Quinny is just about holding off Chris. The gap is only an 9 tenths away. Chris was much closer before, but maybe the tyre wear is starting to creep in. You can see that front left medium tyre now is at least half worn, and that's going to be causing a hindrance to him. Deve is now 2 seconds. Make that 1.5 seconds now behind this leading trio. It really could go anywhere, as we're going to have one more lap of racing, I believe, with these front 3 drivers. See Devo just a little bit wide for that last corner, but he's got so much more life in those tyres. He's got to make a move on his final lap, surely. Tiddlywink 9.5 seconds down the road. He has got to be out of this race, out of contention for the front 3. So let's see what these guys are going to be up to head through the final corner onto what will be the last lap here at Tsukuba. 30-lap race, battling all across the grid. Let's see where it takes us. We can jump very quickly back to P5. I can see on our map there, it's like Chris Chan, Sergeant Colon getting very friendly. So Chris Chan and Tiddlywink were getting quite friendly there. But there's no move to be made into the first corner. We jump back to the front though. It seems that Chris is having a real go now at Quinny. He can smell the blood in the water. He's going for the inside line. Quinny's going to shut that one off. Oh, there's still lots of door banging there. Quinny late on the brakes, running wide there. He's got to hold this line tight now. He's run a little bit wide though. He's going to force Chris off going to the outside. This is the final lap. Is there a move around the outside? That will be a spectacular overtake. Not quite though. Quinny will hold it and use what little forward drive traction he's got left out of that corner. It is still a 3-way fight to the line. Chris R's running dangerously low on fuel there. He's not going to contact the line surely. Quinny on the brakes early. Chris dives to the inside. What a move on the final corner. The final lap. Chris will take the win from Quinny in P2. Deva sideways for P3. But goodness me, what a fight that was for the end. Incredible racing there. Have we got one more shot of that? Oh, I've just missed the replay cut-off there, but what a fantastic move by Chris. Saves it up to the very end of the race, but what an excellent move that was to secure the win. Quinny will be devastated with P2 there after having led so dominantly for that second half of the event. Oh, absolutely gutted. But what a fantastic race there. Urban Fire indeed, what a move from Chris, starting 5th on the grid, up into P1 at the very last possible moment. And if that's not a reason to join Amigos Racing Team in the Discord link in the description, then I've got no idea what else I can offer you guys. So a fantastic race there from our TCR drivers, and again, this is a series that's going to be starting up proper on Monday with a variety of circuits. We've got about eight separate rounds, 3 race format for each. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, a thank you to our partners as well: Liquid Moly, Motorsport Tools, Dwight Coffee, O'Shea International, DS Auto Detailing, and Nankang Tyres. With that said then, I think we're going to call it an evening. So thanks for you all for watching at home, for tuning in. I've been your host for the evening, SuperSquid. Have a lovely Wednesday evening and a great rest of your week. Take care.